I'm out sun gazing again in the morning. The birds are chirping. And I'm just looking straight over in the direction of the sun. And it feels really good. It's extra cold this morning. But it's almost like taking a cold shower. The sun's rays feel really good on my skin. And strangely, looking directly toward the sun feels really good in my eyes. It feels actually very natural. And as I've been tidying up my home, I'm using a combination of different methods. So I've been inspired by the Carnivore method in the life-changing magic of tidying up, essentialism by Greg McKeown, and I've also been inspired by the home edit, which I feel like they have a lot of stuff, the people that they show when they do their home edits, but I was inspired by their method of kind of tidying your bookcase using the rainbow method. So you can see here, this is my current bookshelf in my little office, and it does show, you know, a lot of my different books. I've got some carnivore books, some habits, essentialism, some journals, some arts and crafts books, but again, I'm really kind of balancing between, you know, the ultra minimal, but still wanting to have things that spark joy, and, you know, having color and brightness in my life. So I'm constantly managing the books on my shelf. They go in and out as I read them. I move them around. Sometimes I display some of them, but I try to keep myself contained to this one shelf inside the house so that I don't kind of go overboard and buy too many books. And yesterday I did feel inspired to write down a list of my own personal goals. And they're not all goals. Some of them are practices, like, you know, interacting with my healers, Megan and Diane, and some places I want to travel, some health goals, some things that really spark joy for me, like doing soul collage, journaling, self-authoring. I love getting chiropractic and massage, and I want to incorporate earthing and grounding, which Jackie, our friend Jackie Jones, told me about. There's a professional goal on there of wanting to get my Society for Human Resources Management Senior Certified Professional certification. And so they all just kind of came to me in an inspiration that I like to have something visual to look at throughout the day that reminds me to take some small actions toward my various personal goals. And one of the things that I've liked most about my minimalist journey is that it's enabled me to get really clear on who I am. And one of my personal goals is to learn how to love, honor, and respect myself. And my spiritual counselor tells me how I can do that by getting in touch with my inner child. And instead of laughing and thinking things that they're stupid because I'm 42 years old and I still like stuffed animals and miniatures and things that I liked when I was a child, she's taught me how to say, instead of "isn't that silly" or "stupid," that "isn't that precious," that I still love stuffed animals and miniatures and stickers. So in my room, I have this little shelf from Target, and I've just created this little mini altar of sorts where I only place things on the shelf that remind me of who I am. And so I have my little stuffed animals. I've got Alistair the lion, Baxter the bunny, Albert the owl, and then of course Snoopy the red baron, which I always have loved Snoopy and Peanuts for my whole life. And then I have some little crystals, and I have a little figurine of Kuan Yin, the Buddha, this tiny little Zen garden that my old boss gave me, which I still love. And then I have these little rocks for stones that have different words on them. And my heart there, that's like my gratitude heart that I like to carry around. It's rose quartz. And then here I have some reminders of, I lived for 2 years in Venice, Italy when I was in my early 20s, and I just loved it. I love all things Italian, so I have these little soul collage cards that remind me to continue learning Italian and that I will be able to go back someday and really enjoy being there later in life. So another little Kuan Yin up there, and then this little picture is a picture of my niece and nephew when they were tiny, and then a picture of my big brother and me when I was little, my little diaper and my little teddy bear. And of course I was crying because I was a very depressed baby and toddler. So I just like this idea that you would create one space that is entirely a reflection of who you are, because I think we do need those reminders as we live our lives. We get pulled into other people's agendas and we kind of lose sight and forget who we are and why we're here. So this is my way of having a constant reminder when I wake up and I go to bed. And I like the idea, you know, a lot of people think, oh, you shouldn't have any clutter on your surfaces, that's not being minimal, or that's not being essential. But for me, I think it's finding that balance between self-expression and using objects to keep you on track and remind you who you are and about your dreams and your goals, as opposed to just trying to live this Spartan lifestyle to achieve a visual goal of complete minimalism. I wanted to share a few things that I do try to interact with every single day. You can see here the first thing is my Power Thought Cards deck by Louise Hay. And then I have this kind of old-fashioned journal. It's made by Borum and Peas. And then I have my Secret Gratitude book, which I'll show you how I kind of use each one. And then lastly, you can see my purple pencil. I usually write with a 0.7 lead pencil whenever I do any journaling. I just really like being able to erase, and I feel a little bit less anxious if I'm journaling with a pencil for whatever reason. So usually with my Power Thought cards, I open up the deck and then I randomly pick a card. And I usually pick a card in the morning when I wake up, and usually I know that the card that I pick randomly is exactly what the universe wants me to hear. So in this case today I picked Everything I Touch is a Success, which I was very pleased with. And it says, I now establish a new awareness of success. I know I can be as successful as I make up my mind to be. I move into the winning circle. Golden opportunities are everywhere for me. Prosperity of every kind is drawn to me. And I thought that was a perfectly lovely Power Thought card for today. I do tend to always draw exactly the card with the message that I'm needing to hear. So I really trust in this little deck. I just bought it on Amazon. I'm a big fan of Louise Hay. But this 64 card deck is just really beautiful and simple. And I actually do bring it with me if we travel, because I can fit it in my purse, and I kind of like to keep it with me at all times to look at a card every day. And I wanted to say a little bit more about my journal. I super love all different kinds of journals, and so it's been, you know, kind of a lifelong process of finding the journal that I really feel like I will be motivated to continue writing in. This Borum and Peas journal is actually something that I was inspired to use by going to Aaron's family cabin at Walloon Lake. He has years and years, decades worth of these journals where everybody who came to the cabin, his family cabin, including his grandparents, would actually write what they did during the day at the lake in the journal. So today, you know, I started writing. I try to write whatever I can. I start out on each morning and I write things that I'm grateful for, and then what is important to me in the current moment in terms of making progress on my goals. The journal is a little bit on the pricey side. It's about $40 for this 300-page version. But I originally bought one that was a little bit thin by mistake, and I realized having 300 pages feels just about right. And lastly, I know a lot of people are familiar with The Secret. Some people think it's a little bit corny, but I really do believe in the law of attraction. And so I most recently read a book by Rhonda Byrne, the creator of The Secret, called The Magic. And I bought this book. It's basically a gratitude journal, but I really liked the practice of it. So what she has you do is on the left page, it says gratitude now, and you would start out saying, I am so grateful now, and state a list of things that you're grateful that you currently have. And then on the right side, you would write gratitude intentions phrased in the same way. So it would say, I am so grateful now that, in the present tense, but sort of, things that you would want to happen in the future, but you do write them in the present tense. And what I love about it is that you start to really be grateful for things that you already have, but on the right side, you actually write what might be kind of the enhanced version of something that you already have. So as an example, I might write on the left side, I am so grateful now for the opportunity to telework. And on the right side, I might say, I am so grateful now for the opportunity to work remotely from anywhere in the world and still make a good income. And it may seem kind of silly to talk about, but the tool that you use when you do your journaling, I think it really does matter. So I found these really cool, kind of thicker, grippy Pentel Click .7 thick lead pencils with a twist eraser. I think I bought these at Costco. But I also usually try to pick a color. Purple's my favorite color. And sometimes I'll use the green one because green, kind of represents prosperity and abundance. And I think it's really important, the instrument you use when you write, that it feels comfortable. And for me, like I said, using a pencil makes me worry less about making mistakes when I write. And it just frees me up to think and write fluidly when I am writing down my goals and visions.